Well, internationally, there's a great deal of interest in Leuser and in other areas of Indonesia, of course, which is one of the most environmentally and biologically important areas anywhere on the planet. Leuser in particular has attracted great interest because of it being the last place on Earth that tigers and orangutans and rhinoceros and elephants still live. And it is, of course, one of the last areas of lowland forest, intact lowland forest in Sumatra. And it's really a biological and environmental jewel. And so we have been very pleased with the policies recently with President Jokowi in terms of moratoria on issues like burning and oil palm. We've also been very pleased with the increasing engagement of the Aceh provincial government and their positive views in terms of trying to balance development and environmental concerns in Leuser Ecosystem and in that region. And then we've also been especially pleased with Ibu Siti, the environment minister, and we see her as being very visionary, and in particular in her recent decisions to recommendations to include the Leuser ecosystem within the Aceh Spatial Plan. There's a very far-reaching recommendation. So we have a great deal of respect for the work that the people of the Aceh government, President Jokowi, are involved in right now. And we see this as, from the international perspective, I'm from the scientific community and work primarily in tropical regions, some real signs of hope. Indonesia, is a developing country. It has a very serious need for economic and social development. And what our mission is to learn and to talk and to listen and to try to help governments and organizations to suggest strategies that can, on the one hand, try to maximize the social and the economic benefits for communities and for people, and at the same time try to minimize the environmental damage and costs and the impacts on things like tourism and on ecosystems and on carbon storage and greenhouse gas emissions, so that there can be a maximum benefit while still balancing the needs of people and the needs of nature in a way that's more sustainable and better in the long term for people as well as for nature. Right now, with the current governments, with President Jokowi and with the state government and the lieutenant governor, yes, we're feeling pretty positive about the kinds of policies that they've been announcing and with their priorities. There are some issues that still concern us, some proposals, and we're going right now to Leuser, to Banda Aceh, and to learn and talk more about some of these specific issues. But generally speaking, there's been some very positive signs, and nothing is ever perfect, and no one ever achieves everything one hopes for. But right now, I would say many people have been in the international community have been looking at what President Jokowi's been doing in terms of combating fires, in terms of moratoria on oil palm and some other issues. And the environment minister, Ibu Siti, who's been doing, I think, a very fine job. So we see optimism, but also some caution, because there are still many proposals for major projects, geothermal projects, hydroelectric dams, other things. And it's not even just those projects sometimes, it's the roads and the other things that go in that can open up large areas for much bigger impacts. So what our interest is trying to see where one can have the development, but in a sustainable way, without having a lot of excess environmental damage that's really not good for anybody. Yeah. Well, in the medium term, I think one big concern, of course, is the future elections, and if there's a major change in government in Aceh, there's a concern that a future administration might be much less sympathetic to sustainable development, and I think that would be a major concern. There are plans for some projects right now that would be located, for instance, a Turkish geothermal plant and some other plants and developments which are of concern. So Indonesia generally, in the long term, is interested in getting more foreign investment for infrastructure and for development. And I think that one concern I would have is that one needs to be careful, because there can be strings attached. There can be, a lot of additional things that can happen very rapidly when one starts accepting large amounts of foreign money coming in, and one want to make sure that Indonesia stays in control, and that the government stays in control, and that issues around governance and that there's not bad decisions being made that are not benefiting the people and are not benefiting the environments and the natural heritage of Indonesia, because of a lot of pressure coming from foreign interests like investors and corporations that want to make money very quickly. The Leuser Ecosystem is an area that I've been reading about and hearing about. I've visited Sumatra several times. I've been in Central Sumatra, I've been in Medan, I've been in Banda Aceh. I haven't yet had a chance to actually go into Leuser Ecosystem, but this trip I'm going in and I'm going to spend a few days there, and I'm very much looking forward to. I've seen so many photos, so much film. Now I'm going in, I'm going to walk, and I want to see the forest. And as a biologist, I'm really looking forward to seeing this area, which is, I've been to many impressive areas of the world, and everyone tells me that the Leuser Ecosystem is up there with the Amazon, with the Serengeti, with Madagascar, with the many biological wonders of the world. And it's an area that I think Indonesians can be very, very proud of, because it's a very unique place. It is the last place on the planet where the giant fauna still survive together of the rainforest. The orangutan, rhinoceros, elephant, and tiger. And most places you don't even get any of those species. Here you have all four together. So it's a truly unique place, and a very special place. It's worth protecting as much as possible.